So joining us today, some of you may know, we have Ron Shaw. Ron Shaw is an author, is a poet, a photographer. We're going to talk all the multidisciplinary arts that Ron gets into, but also of interest to probably a lot of our friends and colleagues here on Substack is you have graced all of BookTok with this huge undertaking of the BookTok Indie Awards. And am I getting that right? I always mess it up or flip-flop it. Is it the BookTok Indie Awards or Indie BookTok Awards or
I think I have it as BookTok Indie Author Awards. I have to double
BookTok?
check.
Perfect. And I'll
I
make
have to
sure
check myself.
I love it. So I'm so excited to get some of your time today. Thank you so much. And yeah, you also agreed, drum roll, to let me kind of talk a little bit about your birth chart too. We won't do any doxing. We won't let them know how to hijack your, metaphysical awareness, but we can talk a little bit about that. Is there anything that you would be interested to know about your birth chart? Have you ever done like an astrological reading before? Has anyone done one for you?
I've used one of the apps before just to look at it because I work. Some of the ladies that I work with are very into it, so we were all chatting around. And plus, I mean, the other stuff I have is like I have like my own tarot decks and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's of interest to me. I just don't necessarily always understand all of it.
Hey, you're in good company. Me either. I mean, it's all relative. It's all subjective. It's like some people think what I do is amazing. I feel like a little baby underneath the spotlight of the universe. So I think that's really, really cool. Okay. So I love that you're interested in it. You and I have talked a little bit about it before and your interest in tarot. You also happen to be a Pisces sun, which we joke about. We all hang out together. I'm not a Pisces sun, but I'm honorary. I just love the sign so much. Do you feel like because everybody loves talking about their sun signs because it's easy to know because it's relative to one's birth date, right? Do you feel like a Pisces at all? Has that changed throughout your life?
No, when I look at like the way Pisces are described, I think I mostly fall right into like because even when you look at it, like my birthday is like almost dead center for Pisces. Like I am squat in the middle of it all.
Yes, pure, 100% thorough, all the way to the bone Pisces. I love it. Also, it's like one of the most artistic and musical signs too, allegedly, right?
Yeah, and I'm a daydreamer. It goes with it. Head is in the clouds all the time.
I love it. That's perfect for creating worlds.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, have you had a chance? So I was lucky enough, J.R. Phillips, one of our mutual author friends, was kind enough to ask me to draw some caricatures because you and I are going to be featured. Some of our work is going to be featured in the same book, a collection that the Indie Creator Collective has coming out soon. Um, have you seen your caricature yet?
I think I briefly caught a glimpse of it. I saw some of the stuff in the book, but I know I saw AR's that was done. I saw because I think you have a clip on your
Yeah.
page where you showed hers. So those are awesome looking. I can't wait for that to come out. I'm excited.
I can't wait to read your words. I'm a little nervous for you to see the caricature, but I tried to make you as badass as possible, but also super Piscayan. I hope you love it. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's get into this chart.
Okay.
And hey, Erica and Layla, so nice to see you guys and whoever's here live with us. Erica, another Pisces. Layla, if you're a Pisces, put it in the chat.
We draw them in.
We certainly hope so. And for folks watching this played back, we'll make sure we get Ron's scrubbed birth chart available for everybody to peek at as well. I do, for any folks that are curious, whole sign houses, which just means that instead of using like actual fractional aspects of breaking up where the houses might fall, it's kind of like old school style, a little bit easier, a little bit more intuitive. Whole signs means each sign is its own house. It's easier to keep track of. I think it's also a little bit more traditional, but always are valid. So, do you know your rising? And we talked a little bit about your moon sign before, Ron. Are you familiar with like what the girly pops say is the big three, the sun sign, moon sign, rising sign?
I've heard of those. I don't necessarily remember
Okay.
what all of them mean.
Excellent. Yeah.
Educate me.
I also love that you have mentioned that you kind of have like a work coven of besties that are kind of like all into this stuff too. So very good. Rising sign is Libra. And so, yes, another in the tribe, Erica says. So, rising sign is all about, some people call it mask. I call it more like, what do you seem like to someone who first meets you? It's not your reputation or what you're known for by people who know you or are in your orbit. It's more like people will see you more of this at like a grocery store or you're just kind of interacting with them. It's also a little bit of how somebody looks, but mostly how they come off. Libra, how do I explain Libra? Do you have any Libra friends, Han?
Wednesday, bro. My numbers
Uh,
is
end of end of September and first half of October.
I don't think I have it. No, I don't think I have anyone in that group.
Interesting. JR also. No, I'm just kidding. I won't. I hope JR. I know she's gonna watch this back too. So Libra, I think, if we thought about core keywords for it, might be charming. It's a very social sign. It's ruled by Venus, so we can kind of
Okay.
intuitively pick up some of the aspects or tropes associated with Venus or, the goddess of love and that sort of thing. So values, not just what is physically beautiful, but values of things. Also aesthetics in general, what one's vibe is. But I think to have Libra on the ascendant like this makes one able to fit in and befriend a lot of different walks of life. And I think that's spot on for you. Very socially graceful.
Yeah. Yeah, that would even though I am an introvert, I've always done well, like, through high school, college, whatever. I'm the type of person that can go from group to group to group and no problem and just talk to everybody. Like, it's like, okay, I'm bored with this conversation. Let's go over and hear what the next group and just sneak in with every different group of people. There was just never one set that I had to be with.
Love that. Also, it's an air sign, and I love what you said with maybe I get a little bored and maybe I journey over and learn something else from someone else. So that's great. Air signs are their keyword might be like the intellect or the mind. It's like a very airy kind of mental space. So I think that fits the bill. All right. You also, this is very, very funny. So, for people that know astrology, a challenging placement, what is known to be a challenging placement, is going to be the moon sign or one's emotional core, like their very, very molten center. What motivates them, makes them feel safe, things that are deep down and maybe not obvious to other people. Your moon sign is in Scorpio, which is a notoriously difficult placement to have a moon sign. Um, it's also in your second house since it goes Libra and then Scorpio in house number 2. You seem, and I'm not just saying this because of all of your other earth sign placements, you seem like such a well adjusted, stable, and practical individual as well. I was so surprised when I saw that you had a Scorpio moon. What do you think of that? Have you ever felt in the past, perhaps, maybe some, I don't know, it could be trust issues. It could be things like hard time opening up or something like this.
Oh yeah, that all bleeds into the relationship side. Like that's where like trust issues especially when I was younger, that was huge for me. Like it was something I had to learn as I got older. But also there's chaos underneath. So for me, I'm very good at facing of like, okay, here's me, but inside there's always noise going. That it's just I've learned over the years how to control and manipulate it.
Ooh, always noise going. We're going to look at your Mercury placement next then in just a second. But when you say noise, is it like emotional noise? Is it like your mind going, going, going? Bit of both?
Both.
Both? Got you. The other thing to keep in mind, because I know what you write, and I haven't read all of your ongoing series, which we'll talk about a little bit further on in this convo with you, but you are writing the Purgatory series, and that has huge underworld energy, transformational And I think that that is actually fitting. So that might be where that darkness comes from.
Yes.
I love
It was
it.
it was a means to channel it.
Excellent. Channeling it. Very, very cool. And also very uh successful in terms of like very well received, the two that are out right now. Um, just so impressive. I really, really like that. Maybe that's where that House 2 comes into play. Um, we said we were going to talk about your Mercury. Now, this is really interesting. Your Mercury, when you were born, was in Pisces in your sixth house of routines. Sam, hey, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Um, so, as Sam and Erica and some of the folks that are going to be watching this know, Ron, a lot of writers, or for people who like to write, it's so good to look at the Mercury sign and the Mercury placement, what condition Mercury was in when someone was born, because it's a little bit telling of that, how the mind works.
Mhm.
And of course, the writing, it's all in the mind palace, right? So, when you were born, Mercury was in retrograde. And in my own observations of people, because I'm so obsessed with everyone's natal chart that will trust me with it, and I promise I will never do anything untoward with this information. With great power comes great responsibility. But with this retrograde Mercury, regardless of what sign it is, people are usually such strong writers. And maybe, so do you know what a retrograde is when it comes to planets?
Yes.
Yes. So for those who might not know but might be interested, it's one of those rare times, Mercury less so. Mercury, it feels like it's going retrograde all the time. But when it comes to Mercury and its retrograde or directness, retrograde is kind of like taking a box and dumping it all out onto your desk. Like everything goes every which way and things are just a little off for a long time. Like the old wives' tale or the adage is to not undertake a contract or something like this because it'll fall apart or something bad will happen, unforeseen, during a Mercury retrograde. Excuse me. So when it comes to communication, you would think a retrograde would deteriorate someone's ability to communicate. But in my observations, a retrograde Mercury, when someone was born, just helps them take that power of communication and funnel it maybe from their interior directly into a different medium, like writing so often. I've seen it in photographers too, though I've seen fewer photography charts or anything like that. But um, so as someone with a Mercury retrograde, when I was born, when you were younger, was this something that maybe tormented you, or maybe not so dramatically, but did you ever struggle with, or feel like, "Ugh, what is this separating me from other people when I'm trying to communicate with them?"
Oh, yeah, I even to this day, I have that. I'm very
Really?
oh, yeah, socially, I'm very socially awkward, like, when I'm out in the world, like, trying to have conversations with people, it's very challenging for me because I can't do simple, short conversations. I My brain just goes right into the depths of, like, let's talk about philosophy. Let's talk about the universe. Let's talk about things that are expand and just people kind of look at me. I'm like, That's me." Like there's no simple context. So it's always been that way. Even when I was younger, I couldn't have those short, pointed conversations that everybody else was.
Yeah. Okay. Real recognizes real. So it's retrograde. We both struggle with that. You're in Pisces. You're looking for these expansive conversations. You're looking for these boundary dissolving conversations, right? So, other astrologers might also be curious to know, okay, so what's opposite that sixth house in Pisces? What is in that 12th house? 12th house is the Pisces house. It's like, I always say, like isolation and institutions, but that's kind of a hard sell this day and age. But like you and I both work remotely, and you also, similarly to me, have a bunch of placements in your 12th house, which is one of the most challenging houses. So this is my jam because I think it's a secret superpower. Um, so your 12th house is Virgo. You have Mars there, Jupiter there, Saturn there. Saturn is said to be in its joy in the 12th house. So even though the 12th house is very difficult, Saturn, the notorious like hard ass uh, of the astrological sphere, um, he can sit there and do his work and go about his business. Oftentimes, people will conflate Saturn with like karma, but all very much discipline and order, like putting in the work and taking the time to reap the benefits, even if we maybe don't really want to take the time to do it. But it always promises a reward with the hard work. And I just feel like almost protected by that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I'm getting from this chart. So don't let the Scorpio moon, don't let the Mercury retrograde make you feel any which way about it. I feel like you have a definite blessing in here, and I think your superpower might be in that 12th house. And I'll send you more information about it because I know we want to talk about all of the cool things that you're up to. And hey, JR, hello.
Hello.
Excellent. Okay. Before we move on, though, fixed stars real quick, and I'll send you some information about this too. So your ascendant, you were born under the sign of Corvus with the fixed star Algorab. It's one of the stars there in that constellation, and I think that is super, super cool. It's of the nature of Mars and Saturn, so it's kind of has this warrior vibe to it, which is really cool. So
Nice.
you're born under the crow, the Corvus, and also the warrior star. So don't let anybody say that having your head in the clouds is not cool, because there it is. Okay, so I want to talk about, and I bet the folks who are joining us in the chat, I bet they want to know more about the BookTok Indie Author Awards. You are single-handedly the mind that came up with this, but true to your nature and that kind of Libran social grace, you have brought so many people into it with you. So would you like to start at the very beginning? How on earth did you come up with this idea?
Um, I was looking for awards for myself, like trying to see what existed out there. At least from a indie author perspective, there's a lot of traditional awards, but you've got to be through the publishers or agent, whatever, to get into those. Most of the ones that I was coming across for the indie authors were all paid to submit, pay to play. Like you have to put, every time you want to submit, it's $50 to $100 for a submission, and there's no guaranteeing that you even make it beyond the submission at that point. So I just thought it was ridiculous because of the amount we already invest into our own works and publishing them. Like, why charge people to have to go? I get to some degree if you want to do like the actual, like, here's our actual award. You have to raise some funds for it, but I just wanted to do something to do some acknowledgement. Like, there's such a hardworking community out there that puts these books together, put them, we go through just as much work, if not more, than traditional authors go through. And there needs to be some way to celebrate it. So that was really just, I'm like, I want to do something.
I love it. It feels so generous of spirit. It feels right on the money. This is the first year that they are your awards are in operation, right? I think that is so wonderful. You're also organizing it in a unique way as well, right? And that may be part and parcel of having to do it grassroots style. Like you're saying, make sure you can give back and not take from these indie authors like so many other folks do. Would you like to talk to the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, I'm using the freeware. It's free stuff that's out there. It's the way I could do it. People that have offered to help, like A.R. Reddington created the little graphic. Um, it's any way I can put it together. It's not always the best solutions, but it's the ones that work right now. And really, it's to gain interest. It's making sure people have to learn it's out there. We closed submissions, and there were so many messages they got after. Oh, I'm just seeing this now, and I'm like, sorry. But there's definitely enough interest to where it will carry on for another year. Though I think I am going to change and not run it solo next time.
That's okay. We iterate, right? That is the
Yes,
name of the game.
exactly.
Yeah, you got it off the ground. It's going so well. Can you tell us a little bit about who else have you pulled into the fold? You mentioned A.R. Reddington, Red, who is also amazing. Who else?
So we for the host, so I want to do this is the plan for it is for the final awards in December. We're gonna do a live show. We're gonna bring the winners on, do a live show, and Mama D has agreed to be the host for that. So that's amazing that someone with that type of following is willing to come on and help celebrate all of these authors. But she does a lot anyways out in that community to help all of the indie authors get noticed out there. So I thought it was great. And then I've had one other author, Pandora Crest, who's helped with some additional graphics in the background that we're trying to do for later on for winners and stuff like that. So when people get into like the top five, we'll have a logo that they can have like finalist or something like that, and then we'll have another icon or emblem for winners that they can use either place in their books, profiles, whatever. Just here because we're not giving out physical awards.
Yeah.
It's what we can do to say, here you go, here's your acknowledgement, thank you. Plus, they get bragging rights.
I love it. I am a huge fan of an emblem or a badge, so I can't wait. I wish that I could have submitted this year, but I am following along avidly. I know a lot of folks are. I cannot wait for that live party, just so that folks know, since this will be airing on Substack, this live party is going to be on TikTok, right? Since these are the BookTok Indie Author Awards.
I am looking as well. I'm trying to do some research right now to see if there's any way that I can multicast. Um, Cost wise is the tricky part. There are tools out there. It's just finding someone that's willing to do it at wholesale.
For sure. If you're in a pinch, Riverside FM might be some good software to look into. It definitely will simulcast into Substack. And I think there's a way to do it to TikTok, but I'm less well versed in that, but it might be a good one. And I can shoot you that link too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Can't wait. It's going to be a huge, excellent, amazing party. I think some folks were super excited about that in the chat too. So thanks for sounding off in the chat, guys. So how far along are we in this process? When is that live happening?
That won't be until I believe we have it set for the first week of December. I had to work with Mama D on her schedule to make sure that that the time's there.
Of
Right
course.
now, we're just about to complete the first round of voting. So that will wrap up on the 31st of August, and then we'll start the round two on the 1st. So we're going from these huge lists right now. Like I was blown away by the number of entries. It turned into something like um, 390 pages when I just typed out the list of submissions.
Incredible.
So yeah, now we're gonna move into the top 10 for each. So it'll be nice to have a shorter list to review each time I want to see the standings.
I love it. I love it. I want to see more crossover between Substack and BookTok communities too. That huge list, although it's probably a little unwieldy for you guys who are fulfilling and doing all of the work and sweat behind the scenes. It's a great resource to find and locate some really awesome folks too. So thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, I mean that was an exciting part of it as well. Is even if people don't necessarily make it into like top 10 or whatever, it was an opportunity to get these books out there in front of people because a lot of the time, half of these books I hadn't heard of because you get in your zone on any of the social media and it shows you what you like. So it doesn't after a while it stops showing you outside of that circle unless you come across something like occasionally. So it was nice to like, hey, here's tons of other books by indie authors out there that you may not have come across yet.
Yeah, that's the magic of things like this. And I'm so glad that actually you were one of my very first BookTok friends and you were my
Oh,
very first order from the TikTok shop. So thank you for starting my addiction. I appreciate it.
well, thank you
Um,
for ordering.
yes, of course. And I'm so glad that I did because I think this is a great segue into how many different disciplines you like to dabble in, whether it's that you're a Pisces sun or not. I don't care what it is. I'm glad that you're doing it. So remind me and the audience, not only are you an author of an ongoing series, you are also a poet. And I've read that book of poetry and loved it. You're also a photographer. Is that right?
Yep,
And
that is.
what else? Anything else to add to that running tally of
I guess you could say musician. I play guitar. I can play probably 4 or 5 different instruments.
I love that. Actually, oh my God, I don't want to get too into this on this chat, but that makes the Orpheus thing with G and
Yeah,
Murder so funny. Okay, that's an inside joke. Sorry, guys,
that's
but
that's why I laughed. I'm like, yeah, not about it suits.
I love that. Okay, perfect. Um, so last but certainly not least, I'm going to link everything that I have access to. And if there's anything that you'd like me to link, like maybe you produce music somewhere publicly. If not, that's okay. But I don't know about those links. If that's the case, I'm happy to add them. But we'll get your book of poetry and your ongoing series linked in this post as well for anybody who is interested. But I'd love to talk a little bit about that series that you're working on. It's kind of like your flagship piece right now, right? This is the Purgatory series. You have 2 books already out, and you are working on editing the 3rd installment. And I believe that's Death's Sweet Whisper, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That one is in its final phases. It's going through probably its second to last round. I'll probably do one more round. I have the paid editor doing the work now, but I always go back and do one more round after that.
It's a Scorpio moon. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. I love the attention to these are your babies, you know?
Yes.
Are you still on track? I think in one of your recent TikToks, you were saying you were on track for a November, December release.
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
I think the next my editor is due to have it. She said she'll have it done probably like October. And then it'll be my last round of edits goes quick. It won't be as long because it's just a matter of reading through the book and making whatever adjustments I need to there. And then it'll go off to I have someone that I pay to do the layouts because I don't have the patience that you and JR do like you've done with your collections. I can't. I was just listening to your podcast the other day and I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, I don't have the patience to sit and do that.
Trust me, once we get to the point where we can maybe outsource a little, like that'll definitely be out there. I definitely feel the crunch sometimes, but and it's so great to pull other people in and get their feedback. I've done it with like beta readers more so than editors, but it's such a valuable part of the process. I'm glad you're an advocate for it too.
Oh yeah, I try like with all of it. My editor I pulled in from someone I met on TikTok. It's
Yeah.
came in, and I like to bring those in. My cover and interior designer, is someone I've met off of Readsy, which is one of the other apps that I use for stuff, and
Awesome.
that's the one part of the book I pay the most for is the cover and the interior, just because I want it. I'm snobby about my presentation. I want it to look good, and I don't have the patience to actually sit there and do it.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, the covers for your Purgatory series are perfect for that series, but like the place in my heart is that poetry collection. That's a gorgeous cover. It's just too
Same
perfect.
same art, same cover person who's done all of
Yeah.
my books. She got my trust, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna stay with you.
We're not changing a thing.
No.
Okay, so before I want to talk more in depth about what the Purgatory series is, I want you to plug it and give me a nice quick pitch. But before we do that, I think it's important, and I think folks here on Substack listening to this convo would be interested. How much did the timing of Mama D's availability, your other collaborators in the BookTok Indie Author Awards, when you're having that live party, was it just magic and it just kind of went together that this book is releasing? Or was it kind of thoughtfully managed this way and you had to maybe like pressure yourself to meet the deadline to make sure that maybe these things could happen close to each other? I'm constantly feeling pressure like that. And I just don't know if this magic kind of happens for you or if you
this
were very intentional about it.
this was accidental on the timing. So the first draft, I write quick. I write very quick once I get into motion. The first draft of this book was done in March. I wrote the entire book in probably a little over a month.
Wow.
So I never know. I always try to target November, December as my release. So it was kind of like that was just there. And then the awards just kind of came in and fell in. And I'm like, okay, when does it make sense? I'm like, well, you do award shows at the end of the year. And then it just overlapped. I'm like, oh well, I'm trying to be cautious. Like when I actually pick the actual release date, I'm gonna try and move it so it doesn't fall too much because I don't want to lose attention on the book as I'm doing that. Because I know, we all know when the book comes, you've got to drive the marketing even more than that. So I will probably, if it doesn't look like it's going to make November, I will probably push it to like a week before Christmas or something like that when I do the book release.
That makes sense. Are you feeling the crunch? How do you do it all? You also have a job, like most of us.
I schedule it in. I'm not a huge TV person, so like where people would fill TV time in, I don't. Like that's my reading time or working on stuff. And where I work from home, and I don't know if you do this or not, but I have to break up the day because otherwise I'm just sitting the entire time. Like I have busy hours and I can get my stuff done. I know I can get my work done. So what I do is I create a schedule. I have like a checklist for myself of like, here's the stuff I want to work on today. And I rotate through. So like I'll do like 2 hours of work and then I'll do 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of writing. Like I just go through that every day. And that's like my cycle of like, here's the things I'm going to work on all day. And I'll just kind of keep repeating the loop. And it keeps me on track of getting stuff done. So I never feel like I'm falling away or forgetting to work on something. And then after work hours, typically my day goes like once I'm done, it focuses on reading and writing. Like that's when I wrap up. And then when I'm in the heart of like writing the story, it will consume my weekends. Like I will barely leave my house. And this is why I typically do it in late winter, early spring when I do the core writing of a novel because I don't want to go out when it's cold.
Yeah. Perfect. So, yeah, you're a New Englander for all of our folks that might be interested, and that's
Yes.
another thing you and I have in common. Um, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go
No.
out when it's that
No.
cold.
No.
You're living in the seasons, Ron. You're following the the path of Mother Nature. I absolutely love that, and I'm so glad that it's working out for the timing. I think it couldn't. I don't think you could have planned it better if you had, because I think like getting the eyes and divvying it up and making sure that there's time for everything is excellent. And I love that wisdom that you're passing along for that time management. Right, like the time blocking obviously works. I feel like this is a blockbuster year for you. In terms of like, not that every human is what they produce, right? But like you are producing like this amazing art and all of this value for other indie authors who are so under celebrated, like historically. So thank you for all that you do. And let's wrap this up with a nice, juicy pitch for the Purgatory series. So
It's
what awaits a reader?
it is the pitch is actually my worst parts. I'll
Oh
share that with you.
my me too.
Um,
Let's hear
it's the
it.
hardest thing I have is to either I overshare or undershare about the book. Um, I can tell you more about kind of where it came from. So the whole concept of purgatory was one of those things. It started off on a rant. It was just one of those things where I sat down one day and I had just gotten out of a relationship and my brain was just on its rampage of like, here's everything in the world. um, and then that rant just started making me think about like I really got more into focusing on life and death, like, just understanding it because it's death is one of those things you can't escape. Doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, it's going to get you eventually. So I started thinking about just more and more of what that afterlife might be like. There's, outside of all the stuff I do, I read a lot and uh, it's always been focused around different types of mythology, different religious readings. Like, just I find it very interesting to see what the different religions of the world or mysticisms of the world, how they think of what happens. And that kind of what spawned the interest of it. So I kind of thought of like, how can I tell the story, but do something different? And that's really where the foundation of the series came from. So the first book, Echoes of Reckoning, it follows along the main character Clay, and he's found himself dead right in the beginning. There's no hiding the fact it's within the first few paragraphs. Um, and he finds himself in purgatory, and it's not an afterlife that he understands. Like, it's not what he thought it would be. And the journey of the story is it goes there a little bit, but then it also is a love story in there, built in there as well. It's he's looking for his fiance who died before him. So he's trying to track her down. He's not sure that she's there, but then all of a sudden, starting little hints or things start happening that he's like, oh, maybe she is here. And he's trying to find her. And what I did with that first book is I broke one of the cardinal rules that we're not supposed to do. I gave background. I spent a good chunk doing background, but I tried to do it in a way to really make sure that the reader connects with the two of them, because it's their story. It's his love for her that drives him to a point of craziness as he's going through. And he runs into death, which in this is a character called Azrael. He is death incarnate. He is the
Right.
Grim Reaper for all purposes. Um, and he just likes to torment Clay, the character. He kind of screws with everybody. He's like, he is a devil that you hate to, or love to hate.
I love
Like,
that adversarial perspective. That's really cool.
so it's a combination of dealing with him. Like, he pretty much gets on Death's bad side and tries to chase him through, but he's trying to find his fiance, and also he wants to know, he's heard of a way to free himself from purgatory. So he's trying to figure out how to get his way out at the same time. And that's kind of the extent of the first book. I split that one from two perspectives, to where I'd say about 80% of the book is from his perspective, but then I wanted to also take a look at the flip of it from his fiance's perspective, because she went before him. So I kind of do a playback where she's observing him for a time before. So you get this secondary view of, like, all of the struggle he's going through. She actually also, like, from her perspective of seeing it, but then also how she sees the afterlife, what her experience is until they meet up again. And that's kind of where the first book wraps up. Like, it kind of stops there, a little bit of a cliffhanger. uh, and it goes, the second book in the series brings them back again. But from this one, I broke it out into, I think you follow five different characters and their perspectives jump back and forth. But the story's always moving forward progressively, but it does go back and forth to expand the worldview. Like, they're all characters you meet in the first book, but I wanted to get more into them, and really rip into purgatory and what's happening, this all the stuff that's going on there. And Azrael again plays a key role, because it's his chaos that they're all trying to figure out. And also there's some stuff with what Clay has done in the first book that causes a ripple effect into all the worlds of existence that they have to solve for.
I love that. I am a fan of like multi-perspective storytelling as well, and it sounds like Azrael is like a really good puppet master trickster trope.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
He's the Loki of the story.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. Awesome.
So, and I do introduce into the second book, there's more mythology mixed into it. So, like, I bring in some Egyptian stuff, some Greek, Roman. Like, I build it into, like, these different characters in purgatory or the afterlife that come to interact with the different characters.
Very cool. We got a question in the chat, and I don't know the answer. Wasn't Azrael an angel from Christian mythology? You said you had looked into
Uh,
other religions, right?
yeah, so Azrael is both Christian and, well,
Jude-
Judeo Christians, because he originally shows up as the angel of death, or yeah, I think angel of death. I don't in Hebrew, like the original Hebrew angels, he was like the angel of death. I don't think they called it the same thing, but he was that
Got
character.
you.
I tried to keep the names and, like, who they were realistic, like, of, like, here's
Yeah.
what they were, how they played their position.
I love those seeds and breadcrumbs too. Maybe it's just like the detective in me or something like that, but I love to just kind of like expand into what this might mean.
Well, I bury Easter eggs
You
throughout
do?
my books. Oh, yes, yes. I love, like, I build little funny quips in there with, like, especially 80s pop culture stuff I drop in there all the time. little lines in there. If people that know it will catch on to it, otherwise ignore. Like, for example, the his fiance's last name is Sanderson, which is pulled from the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah, oh
Like
my God.
little things like that that I drop in the second book. I have him talking about a time frame, and it's the time that Sinead O'Connor or Prince uses, and nothing compares to you. It's 15 hours and whatever days. Like I built that into it, like just because like I know somebody's gonna read it and laugh about it. They're gonna catch it, but I have fun putting those and hiding them in there.
I bet readers love finding them and excavating them, and it just is so entertaining. And I think the proof is in the pudding. As I had mentioned earlier in this convo, I think you have a disgusting amount of really amazing high ratings for these two books that are already out, and such a loyal following because of the craftsmanship and that attention to detail that you were talking about earlier too. Just excellent, excellent. They are on my TBR. You know, those lists, they grow and they do not
Yes,
ever
they do.
shrink.
Yeah.
Um, we had a question in the chat, reminded one of our viewers of what dreams may come. And I think that's the piece of like the walking between the
Yeah.
existences. And does that play any role in the inspiration of this or just a
Oh,
friendly coincidence?
no, absolutely. It was definitely inspiration. Kind of one of the things I've seen. What dreams may come, and what was another? Was it All the Pretty Girls? No, Lovely Bones. The Lovely Bones was another one. Like those movies kind of played into like
Yeah.
thinking about here's what happened. What Dreams May Come definitely was a strong influence. That particular writer is a strong influence. He has a couple other books out there, um, and yeah, they have. He takes a good perspective of ghosts, the afterlife. That it's hard to not add in there.
Yeah, are you laughing at the comment? Lovely Bones changed my life. All caps. Excellent. Well, these books, I have no doubt, will change some lives as well, and all for the better. And certainly, your efforts, these Herculean feats that you are putting into the Book Talk Indie Author Awards, will do the same. And I'm just glad to witness the first ever, and I know there will be many more to come. Ron, is there anything else that you're working on that you'd like to plug or touch upon or disclose that we haven't gotten to yet?
I think we've gotten to everything. So we have the Indie Author Collective as well. So I have a story that's going to be coming out in that.
Yeah.
And I am working on my next novel outside of the series. So this third book is the final one in this series, and
Okay.
I've already started the next book.
Oh my gosh. Any teasers about content?
Um, I'll give you an overview of it. And you can let me know what you think.
Please, yeah, we got
This
the
will be
time
a
as long
testing
as you
ground.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this particular one that I'm working on right now, again, death is just kind of my calling, I think, when it comes to writing. This is particular one is about a 93-year-old gentleman, and he is in his last days. He's been told, you have you're in hospice. You're at the end of it. And it goes through and he's kind of experiencing these last days, and it goes into that of the people you see before you die or as you're dying. Each one's coming to him, and each one he keeps telling, "I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Go, come back tomorrow." And as it gets down to the last one, it's because there's something that he's again this falls over from my other stories, but there's something he's feeling guilty about in his life, and he wants this person to come so he can apologize. Someone that's died, he wants to apologize before he goes. Um, and the story's being told like these are happening, but the story's told from a hospice nurse that was taking care of him for the last few days. Her experience with him, but the stories get told because in his last days he's writing letters to his wife that died before him. He's just writing these letters because he needs to get his words out, and she finds them after he dies. And the story starts with her sitting at the funeral home during his funeral. She's, he's so old that there's not a lot of people that still knew him that were around. Most of his family's gone. So she's sitting there and one by one starts reading the letters. So she's reading his writing to his wife and seeing it. It basically we'll go through his life story. So each letter is the person that he's seeing as he's dying, but it's telling the story about what they talked about, and part of his life he kind of reflects back on it. And each one goes down, and then she's brought these letters because she's hoping to give them to someone. She didn't know what they were, but it's her curiosity as she's sitting there. and each one that she's reading, she's also relating back to an incident with her own son. So she has a son. She's the only mom or only parent, and she's challenged with her son. He's doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing, and she's worried he's falling into a bad thing. But there's just no conversation between them anymore because he's at that 16, 17-year-old
Yeah.
age, and they just don't connect. So each of these things is she's finding something in each letter that she's connecting with, trying to figure out how to bring it back to her own life and what's happening with her and her son. Um, and it's the last moment. What's really bugging her is at the end. He said, talking to her like she's someone else, apologizing, and she has no idea who it is until she gets to the last letter. She learns who that person is, like, and why he broke down, and like when he finally passes, like it was because he got to talk to this person and kind of just let it
Oh,
go.
so you love also tugging at everyone's heartstrings,
Yes.
like Orpheus on The Lyre. Love it. I also really am impressed by how you like to play with format from the things that you've told me too. So I'm really looking forward to both this and the Purgatory series.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was one that's been sitting for a while. I have like, yeah, I had to keep building it. The hard part was like really figuring for this hospice nurse like how to connect, and it was through a son. I'm like, it has to be like it has to be like a struggle that she's going through there, and that's how she's relating back to it, like looking at her life because we're jumping through her as well. Like in the last days, like through it, she's also having her recollections of what happens. And this guy, because he's kind of like the grumpy one that nobody wants to deal with, but he's not really grumpy. He's just misunderstood and quiet. But it's in his room because he's so quiet that she has these times to reflect, and she's hearing him as he's talking to these people, and like now it's all making sense as she's reading it. So it's just like I love trying to find that connection and build this out.
Sometimes I think to myself, okay, so here's our 12th house connection and our weird little retrograde thing. Sometimes I feel like that's a huge part of why humans are such social creatures because it helps them to perceive possibilities through other people's eyes and lives and just actions. Do you sometimes feel that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, what a gift,
Yeah.
kind of. Okay, well, starting to derail that. It sounds beautiful. I can't wait, everybody. Um, this is Ron Shaw, author of the Purgatory series, with the third and final installment, Death Sweet Whisper, coming out the end of this year. And definitely follow along with Ron on TikTok. There it is. What a tease. I love it. It's gorgeous. I love those colors. Your book cover artist is amazing, like you said. Follow Ron on TikTok because not only is the content good, he's always up to something cool. At the end of this year, he and a bunch of other amazing creators over on that platform are going to be hosting the first ever BookTok Indie Author Awards live beginning of December. It's going to be a great time, and it is all for the purpose of giving back to an underappreciated, underlauded community, indie authors. So thanks so much. Thanks for joining us today, Ron, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Nika.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.